What they do behind the scenes is directly connected to reducing one way to reduce gun violence. The technology behind the production and the fixing and the adjusting of and the creating of platforms is what they do.
I am in awe of what you do, or what potentially you can do. We need to talk. I have access to money. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
No, listen. You and I sit down and talk in my office. Don need to be there.
Yeah, ASAP.
Yeah, but we need to talk because see all this expensive stuff y'all got now.
Yes, sir.
You have to do it free
Yes, sir.
if you're gonna help our children.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Don't let me go to my grave and take my contacts with me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, Reverend Peter, what's your call to action?
Well, first I'd like to support 3C Vision as much as I can and hope and pray that y'all are successful in your efforts to help our people and our children. I am an UMYO community supporter.
Who knows how many more out there that we know we need to follow, but we ask you to come together, connect, cultivate our relationships, get back to the business that we've let go for so long and stop believing all the nonsense. You just heard the truth, ladies and gentlemen. These are stories that we know you need to take, you need to listen, and you need to apply that to everyday life because this is real talk. And what we're trying to do here is give you a chance to listen to the history and hopefully it will inspire you to do better, to do more, and to help each other without all the nonsense.
The work that Dr. King started with the Poor People's Campaign many years ago, working with the people Jesus called the least of these, and to work with a company that's owned by an African who's also an American to continue to do this work.
UMYO.
I'm asking your opinion.
It's going to be at the bottom of the screen or on the screen somewhere for you to follow. Just log in, subscribe, and you can get access to everything that we'll be doing to help our communities and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, signing off. Dr. Broussard.
This is the movement.
This is the movement,
Stay
y'all.
tuned.
Stay
We
tuned.
coming.
Brother Chair, can you explain what an UMYO community supporter is?
Thank you, Peter Jensen. I am in awe to have you support the virtual version of Operation Breadbasket, and so should we all. I ask for each person listening to this podcast to view the documentary, Three Identical Strangers. It was a story of three male babies that was birthed from a suicidal, mentally ill mother. And each child would then be adopted by three families that consisted of a mother, father, and daughter. Not to ruin it for you, but it was an experiment from a doctor who was hired by the government, paid to come to the United States from Germany. Where's the accountability? But we can't continue to focus on their accountability when we realize we're simply not going to get it. So the purpose of this experiment was to determine if these three twins would suffer the same fate as their mother if they were sent to homes where there was no signs of mental illness, to test and see if mental illness was hereditary. And if it was, what would be their fate if they was raised with a poor family, middle class family, and a wealthy family. Unfortunately, it was determined based upon the experiment that mental illness was hereditary, and two of the siblings committed suicide, and the remaining one who received the most attention from his middle-class father. Although he survived, he suffered from major depressions and suicidal thoughts. They all found each other and realized there were many other twins who were a part of the same experiment. So when we look at this problem that we have today, and the 69% of homeless youth with mental illness, no one discusses the percentage that are adopted and the percentage that comes from mentally ill parents. So we all have mentally ill parents producing mentally ill children, birthing mentally ill children, teaching mentally ill children. And as we continue to point fingers, we forget that the reason some parents aren't able to assist or be there effectively for their children is because they don't have the skill set. They never saw it. And they truly are doing all that they know. Not to mention, the more trauma, the more drama, the more reaction, the more destruction. There's a phrase that says, raise a child in the way of good, and though they may sway away, the majority are able to come back to what they learned. But whoever put that in reverse, raise a child in evil, and all they know is survival. So what is it that they have to go back to? No heart. And this includes killing, stealing, robbing, fighting, envy, strife, and trauma induced by mental illness that is now fed by daily trauma that increases by the second, the minute, the hour, the day, the week, month, and yearly triggers. And these are those who cause more trauma, pain to other people's lives, molestation, killing of family members, uncontrollable anger, and the cycle continues and continues. And these are those who have 14 opportunities to do better, but they can't seem to get it right. Raise a child in negativity, and when they get older, what is it that they have to go back to? Because their mind is fragile, that the life of someone we know or a family member taken away can easily take others over the deep end. And again, the cycle of traumas begin and continues. So there has to be accountability. Otherwise, we all fall victim to spreading the germ of mental illness. It's not a separation of race, of color. It's a separation of good and evil. And there has to be this preventive method put in place, a plan of action. There is no escape for no one. So we stopped caring a long time ago because we never were introduced collectively to a plan of action that makes sense to all people. Peter Johnson has been fighting the war for decades and is handing over the baton. And we have graciously grabbed that baton with honor, as well as develop a plan of action that holds us all accountable. The question is, have we become a nation that is so mentally ill that we continue to wait and blame the government for a task we can collectively do ourselves? Have we become so mentally ill and programmed that we just gave up? Have we just become so mentally ill where we're praying that we're not the next victim of violence until we are? And if you have a little left in you, just a little, join this movement and this plan of action. The future of our youth, your children, the next generation, and the now generation needs us. So don't wait until one day you wake up so traumatized that you can't do anything about it. Grab this baton with us and let us show Peter Johnson that his legacy will live on. The turbulent story of one who did not stop despite the traumas, and he's still running. How old are we? Some say that we're so mentally traumatized that we are programmed to take one political party over the other when both are hurting our country. So we vote for the lesser of two evils that are equally the same. And despite our differences in problem-solving skills, we're too divided and mentally traumatized to see through the smoke, to see it's just a matter of time unless we act as one unit and help each other. Are we that traumatized? Well, we're going to let the system continue to keep us divided. All Europeans aren't bad. All Nubians aren't bad. But if all of us and all of those who see through the smoke can unite to assist each other, wouldn't that force us to see who is truly against the U.S.?